It has been 3 seasons since I've done an Apex weapons tier list, and a lot has changed. For starters, the Prowler's in the care package now, the Devotion is now floor loot, we got 2 weapons, the Volt and now the Repeater, and there were a bunch of weapon buffs and nerfs. So because we hit our sub goal again on Twitch, here is another Apex Legends weapons tier list. And of course, I'm not including any of the care package weapons because you can consider them all S tier, except maybe the Prowler. Like, I don't know why the Prowler's in the care package. And as usual, these are my opinions, these are not facts, so if you disagree, go ahead and write a comment, but don't be mean about it. So let's move on to D tier. D tier is reserved for guns that are just not good, and if you see them on drop, you probably don't want to pick them up at all. And we're starting D tier with the Longbow. Snipers in general don't have the best time in Apex, and the Longbow is by far the worst sniper. It doesn't do anything the best at all ranges, especially up close, and being the worst ammo type in the game isn't helping. While Skull Piercer is a strong hop-up, it's not enough to make this gun good. Simply put, there are better snipers and way better ranged weaponry. In order for it to be better, I think that first of all, sniper ammo needs to be removed, since it's an ammo type that is not very popular and its attachments aren't picked up by many people, making the late game loot pool for snipers not great. If it was a heavy gun again, it would have a lot more ammo to work with, and the chance of finding high tier heavy ammo attachments and ammo in the late game would be significantly higher. But that goes for all snipers. All snipers would be buffed if sniper ammo just disappeared. And the last weapon in D tier is the Mozambique. While Mozambique here is a funny phrase, I won't be saying Deebs anytime soon. This gun is still one of the worst guns. Without hammer points, it's god awful, and a gun nobody wants to run. With it, it's slightly better, but it's just completely outclassed by other shotguns. I genuinely think that increasing its mag size to 5 or even 6 shots will change it for the better, because even though they did increase it to 4, it still wasn't enough. Okay guys, this is how I feel about Mozambique. Someone get ready to clip this. Oh, worst gun in the game, right guys? Where's the longbow when you need it so we can throw that off too? And that's it for D tier. You will find that most weapons from here on out are decent to very good. Apex Legends has done a great job at balancing most of these weapons throughout the seasons. C tier is reserved for weapons that are okay, but you're going to want to drop them for better guns immediately. First up, we have the L-Star. The L-Star got some buffs, making it a lot better than it used to be, but it's just outclassed by every energy weapon by a long shot. It's just so inaccurate and blocks so much of your vision with its big flares. It's just not worth using if you find another energy weapon. This gun could really use a barrel stabilizer like I've mentioned in the last tier list. This would help both of its main issues. Until then, it will stay at the bottom of C tier. Next, we have the auto pistol, the RE45. Wow, a new hop-up! And nobody even cared. The RE45 is just a placeholder gun until you find a better light gun. If it packed more of a punch or its hop-up actually did something, it could have a chance, but I doubt it. Perhaps if they increased its magazine size or damage, or both, it could actually be a decent gun. Until then, you're going to want to swap it as soon as you can. Next up is the charge rifle. This gun, while hit scan, is just not the best sniper. It has barely any ammo, the longest reload time of any gun in the game, and it doesn't even benefit from the new golden sniper magazine. It's an incredible sniper from really far away, but it lacks versatility in every other area. While they could buff its ammo size or its damage, it's probably fine how it is because we don't want this gun of all guns to be broken. It's not useless. It's just an okay gun. Up next, we have the 30-30 repeater, 30-30 repeater, 30-30 repeater, 30-30 repeat, which I know is going to get a lot of hate since it's the new kid in town. And while I might have said that it's busted in the last video I made when it first came out, I now see the light. It's alright. It's just outclassed by every other assault rifle, which does its job better, especially since they brought back Anvil Receiver. It's not great in close range, and its reload time is bad. One way they could buff it is to increase its fire rate slightly, but then it might be a bit too good if that happened. And at the top of C tier, we have the P2020. The P2020 is similar to the Mozambique in that without a hammer point hop-up, it's not great. But with it, it's incredible. It's one of the best guns with it. In the right hands, it shreds through teams with ease. What would make it even better is if it maybe had a little bit more shots in its magazine, but I think it's in a great spot as is. Next up, we have B tier. B tier is full of weapons that are all good, but they're just not great. These weapons could be your favorite guns and guns you bring to the end, but just know that there are other guns that just outclass these guns slightly. First up, we have the Alternator. The Alternator received a small but significant buff this season, with an additional 1 damage per shot. This makes it a beast that is decently accurate. It's just slightly outclassed by its light gun older brothers, but it's so close to being a top tier gun again. You guys remember season 2 when it had Disruptor? Yeah. That's when it was top tier before. Oh, it's so close. I can taste it. Maybe 1 more damage? Next up, we have the Sentinel. This sniper only requires 2 cells to charge now, and it's so worth it. It's one of the best snipers and almost feels like a baby Kraber, but its weak fire rate and the fact that disruptors go away for some reason is what holds it back. It would be A tier if it shot slightly faster and disruptors stay until you use all the ammo and not over time. Next up, we have the biggest winner this season, and it's the Spitfire. Once considered one of the worst weapons, it got 2 big buffs in its damage and the introduction of gold magazines. This gun is so forgiving, it really does feel unfair at times, but its slow fire rate is still holding it back from the top. A slight fire rate buff could help, but it might make it a bit too much. But right now, it's in a good spot, and if you're gonna kill me with the Spitfire, you suck. I'm just kidding, Spitfire fans. You know I love you. Up next, we have the best sniper in the sniper class, and that's the Triple Take. Since Precision Choke is completely gone, the Triple Take naturally is amazing on drop. It is the only sniper that is both good in close and long range. It honestly feels like a shotgun sometimes. I genuinely believe that the only thing holding Triple Take from being a top tier weapon is the fact that it uses sniper ammo. If it was an energy gun again, you could definitely see this gun being a top tier weapon, since it could carry a lot more ammo. But until they do something about sniper ammo overall, it's gonna stay in the middle of B tier. Next up, we have the EVA shotgun. The EVA is a fair shotgun. It has a great fire rate and a high magazine. It's just a great gun overall. It's outclassed by one shotgun, which we'll talk about later, and it also got nerfed slightly because double tap is gone, but a purple bolt does the job anyway. I believe it's completely fine where it is. Next up, we have the Havoc. The Havoc has its turbocharger back, but they did nerf it a couple times to make it a little bit inaccurate. With the turbocharger, it's amazing. Without it, it's good. The other downside is that it's not very accurate in long range battles, so you're not going to be using it as a sniper anytime soon, which is good. It would be broken if you could. But in close to mid range, especially with the turbocharger, this thing melts. Don't sleep on the Havoc, it's still great. And at the top of B tier, we have the HEMLOCK. Last season, before its nerf, it was S tier. I'm not even kidding. A lot of pros hated the HEMLOCK. Now, it's still great, don't get me wrong, but it's just slightly outclassed by other assault rifles, and I think it's in a better place. Like the EVA shotgun, I don't believe it really needs any more buffs, or it might just be too much again, but like I said, it's in a good place. Now we have A tier. All of these guns are great. They're just not the best guns. Starting with the Flatline. I got 2 words for you. Anvil Receiver. With this hop-up, it has so much versatility. It has great hip-fire accuracy, decent damage, and a solid close to mid-range game. It's what the 30-30 repeater wishes it could be. Now I'm just imagining like the Chad Flatline versus the Virgin 30-30 repeater. If you haven't been using the Flatline this season, you gotta give it a shot. It's nuts. Next up, we have the Devotion. The Devotion, in my opinion, does not belong on the floor. Look, I get it. Without a turbocharger, it's okay. It has a really long windup, and it's not the most accurate weapon. They definitely nerfed it a couple times, but my god, with the turbocharger, it's just unfair. It just shouldn't be a weapon. Why is this allowed? I really do hope that the developers understand that the Devotion should just be a care package weapon, and they could probably bring back the Prowler as a regular weapon, and just nerf the Prowler if it's that good. Seriously, nobody likes getting shredded by a Devotion. Let's go! Nobody. Next up, we have the best sniper in this game, and it's not even a sniper, the G7 Scout. This is essentially the better 30-30 repeater. It has better fire rate, reload speed, and it's even decent in close range. The G7 remains on top as the best long range weapon. Double tap may be gone, but most people never needed it in the first place. It's just that good. There is, however, one gun that I think is just more versatile in every range and just does the G7 Scout's job slightly better, and that's the R301. The R301 is the epitome of a perfect weapon. It's not broken, but in the right hands, it is incredible. It has great damage, insane accuracy in close range, mid range, and long range. It has great hip fire accuracy. The R301 is great in the hands of a noob, and it's great in the hands of a pro. This is the gun that every gun should strive to be like. The R301 is just a gun that is phenomenal, and it even gets better because they added Anvil Receiver to it, making it even better in long range. And now we're on S tier. These are the best weapons, and if you're great with these weapons, you're kind of unstoppable in this game. The first gun we have is the Wingman. The Wingman is still an S tier weapon. In the hands of an aim god, it's insane. Every time you land a couple Wingman shots, it's gonna destroy shields in close, mid, or long range. The Wingman will always be on top. It requires no ammo, has one of the best hop-ups, the Skull Piercer, and with the inclusion of gold magazines, it just gets even better. Up next in S tier, we have, of course, the R99. The R99 has not changed much since my last tier list, and it still remains as one of the best guns. It is still insanely accurate, and in close to mid-range, it's a shredding machine. And with a lot of the top tier guns being light ammo guns, you'll always have enough ammo in the mid to late game. The only reason it's not at the top is because it's slightly outclassed by the newest SMG in this game, the Volt SMG. The Volt came out recently and even got nerfed, but even then, it is still phenomenal. It's an SMG that is good in both close, mid, and long range. It's not gonna snipe people from across the map, but majority of fights happen in close to mid range anyway. It does great damage, and it's an energy weapon that doesn't require a turbocharger to be great. This gun is the reason why the R99 is not on top anymore, because why run the R99 when you can run the Volt? And last but not least, we have the Mastiff. You may have heard me on stream call the game Mastiff Legends before, because the Mastiff has literally become a must-pick gun. I don't know exactly why the meta has shifted this way. Maybe it's because Caustic is so good, but a lot of games end up being very important close-range encounters, and there's one gun that is above all others in the close range, and that's the Mastiff. The Mastiff, in my opinion, isn't a broken weapon by any means, but it is the only shotgun that fulfills the role that you need in close range. I do believe that if they had to nerf this weapon at all, it would be by decreasing its ammo size by 1 or 2, because right now, and maybe it's just my perspective, but it feels like if I don't have a Mastiff, I'm gonna lose to an enemy with the Mastiff. It's just that good. And that's it. That's my tier list. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want, make your own tier list. I am not a pro player and I'm not pretending to be one. So if you are in master's rank or above and you genuinely disagree with me, I would love to hear your input in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.